Michel Henry. How does life experience its own pathos from within? Michel Henry, born in French Indochina in 1922, was a unique voice in phenomenology, developing a philosophy that diverged sharply from the trends of his time. He lived a quiet life as a professor and novelist, serving in the French Resistance during the war. While contemporaries like Sartre focused on the world and the outside, Henry turned his gaze radically inward. He sought to understand the essence of life not as a biological object, but as a subjective experience. His major works, such as The Essence of Manifestation, are rigorous and demanding, challenging the entire Western tradition. He argued that philosophy had forgotten the most basic reality, the immediate feeling of being alive. Henry was also a profound interpreter of Christianity and art, seeing them as expressions of this inner life. He died in 2002, leaving a legacy increasingly recognized for its spiritual depth and radical originality. Radical immanence. Western philosophy has traditionally understood manifestation as something appearing at a distance, like seeing an object in light. This implies a separation between the seer and the seen. However, Henry argued there is a more fundamental mode of revelation, the way life reveals itself to itself. This is radical immanence. In this state, there is no distance and no outside. Life does not look at itself, it feels itself. It is a crushing intimacy where the self is identical with itself. This experience is invisible to the eyes of the world because it never steps out into the light of the exterior, it is the silent foundation of our being. By recovering this concept, the focus shifts from the visible world of objects to the pathos of living, the immediate, non-representational self-experience. Life as auto-affection. When we speak of life, we usually think of biological processes, cells dividing or hearts beating. This is life viewed from the outside, as an object of science. But Henry argued this is not what it means to be alive. To be alive is to undergo the experience of oneself. This mechanism is termed autoaffection, the process by which life affects itself, feeling its own weight and content. This self-feeling is the defining characteristic of subjectivity. A rock exists, but it does not feel itself existing. Autoaffection manifests as the twin poles of suffering and joy. Because life is passive and cannot escape itself, it suffers its own being, yet, as the source of its own power, it experiences the joy of self-possession. This definition reclaims life from biology, positioning it as the absolute subjective reality. Flesh. We typically identify our body with the visible object in the mirror, the objective body. However, Henry distinguishes this from the body we live. The flesh is the subjective body, the body that feels pain, effort, and movement from the inside. When we move our hand, we do not observe it like a tool, we inhabit the movement immediately. The flesh is the site of our radical immanence, where we are identical with our sensations. It is not an object in the world but the very medium of our existence. This distinction is crucial for critiquing modern culture, which tends to reduce the body to a material object to be improved or displayed. By returning to the concept of flesh, Henry restores the sanctity of the feeling individual against the dehumanizing tendency to view humans as mere biological machines. Michel Henry's radical phenomenology has gained significant traction, influencing the theological turn in French philosophy. His work offers a powerful alternative to deconstructionism, and his analysis of affect has influenced contemporary research in psychology and theories of the embodied mind. His critique of Marxism as a betrayal of the living individual remains potent. Furthermore, his writings on the nature of art provide a unique theory that prioritizes emotional resonance over representation. Henry stands as an essential guardian of the inner life, reminding philosophy that before we see the world, we must first feel ourselves alive.